Hello YouTube. Figured I'd do up a quick little video here on some of the pipes that I showed were basically K-Woodies and my old custom builds and stuff that I've collected. I've collected a lot of estate pipes over the years, and one thing I've always kind of noticed is that a lot of the old, well, like the stuff that my grandpa smoked, I've still got, I don't have it out here. My grandpa gave me, well actually after my grandpa passed away, my grandmother gave me my grandpa's old Dr. Grabow. And it was just an old Omega pipe, and it was all burned out around the rim from him using a Zippo lighter, a regular Zippo lighter, not a pipe lighter, and tipping it, and it burned the rim of the pipe out on the one edge from the lighter always burning in the same place. And I've always noticed that a lot of people kind of dismiss Dr. Grabow pipes as being a good pipe. Now, I won't totally disagree with that. A lot of the newer Dr. Grabow pipes aren't what they used to be. Just like K-Woody's not what K-Woody used to be. I'm hoping that they'll bring, it seems to me like they're trying to bring K-Woody back, but I don't think they'll ever be what they were. In their heyday back in the late 40s, 50s and 60s, when I was a little kid and my grandpa was smoking pipe, all he ever smoked were K-Woodies and Dr. Grabows. And Medicos. I think he had a few Medico pipes. And that's what most of the old guys smoked. And I've got a real soft spot in my heart for the old Dr. Grabow. I've got quite a collection of the old standard Dr. Grabow paper filter pipes. But just to disprove the idea that not that all Dr. Grabows are kind of crappy pipes, and then that they all have that funky finish on them that always seems to blister up and go bad. If you shop around, and there is one, because I haven't really researched Dr. Grabow back that far, it's hard to find the history on some of these old pipes. But Dr. Grabow did make one back years ago called the Emperor pipe. And the story behind the Dr. Grabow Emperor pipe, if you can find one of their old ads, I don't have one I can show right now. I think I've got one saved in my records someplace, and I looked for it and I can't find it. If I do find it, I'll post it back up later. But this, let me turn I got another little floodlight here that I can turn. There we go. That'll kind of show the pipe off. This is a Dr. Grabow Emperor pipe. The story behind these is that 1 in 10,000 pipes is good enough to make a Dr. Grabow Emperor. 1 in 10,000. Now these pipes are finished with, they're just buffed and oiled. And if you read in the ad, basically they're saying rub it on your forehead and take the oil from your forehead, and that's basically, or wipe you got an oily nose, or wherever, and that's what these old pipes were polished with. Or you can use like one of my favorite pipe polishes is the Denicare, and that's what these old pipes are put together. And these pipes are you can take the stinger out of them if you want, but they are a stinger pipe. That's basically the same. They're an adjustomatic basically, but they're the highest end of a Dr. Grabow pipe, and they're called an Emperor. And I've got two of them. Here's another one that's got a saddle bit. And let's see if this will show up. Get it tipping light. It's got really beautiful grain on it. I don't know how good this camera will show it up. Usually does a pretty good job. I can get it tipped in the light right. These pipes, when I got them, were just completely caked inside. I had to ream them out. They were almost completely choked out. One didn't have a stinger in it, but I had some pipe parts and I put a stinger in it. Now here's another one, and this is a new pipe. I bought it, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago. And this is Dr. Grabow's big pipe. That's all they call it. It's called a big pipe. Now if you can find one, it's when you order these you can't really pick what you're ordering. But if you look at the grain on this thing, it's got beautiful bird's eye it's got really quite a nice finish on it. See if I can bump this in just a little bit. There, now you can see it better. Get my ugly face out of there. And this is called a Dr. Grabow's big pipe. And this is a paper filter pipe. Maybe get a better shot of this one. There's a better shot of the Emperor pipe. You can see they got a few little fills in them, but for the most part they're really nice chunks of wood. Now the big difference between the Emperor and this big apple pipe, let me get my zoom back out here again. This thing has that, I don't know if the camera will pick it up or not. You can see where it's burnt right in here. That's actually the finish that's blistered up and come off, because these pipes are done up with, oh, let me turn that bright light off. These pipes are done up with like a varnish or a shellac type finish, and almost all the newer Dr. Grabows will do that. Their finishes will come bad like that. Now you can take a pipe like this, take like a triple-aught steel wool or real fine sandpaper, and be real careful and don't put any real bit, you don't want to put scratches in it. Clean the finish off. Then go to like a 600 grit all the way up to, I don't know, when I refinish pipes I'll take them to like a 1200 grit, and then depending on what you can restain them or whatever you want to do with them, or you can just oil them like they did with the Emperor pipes, and the Denicare will, and to get an oil finish on them, and then buff them and wax them. And this one I haven't done that to. This pipe hasn't been, well, I smoke it quite a bit, but not a lot. It's such a pretty pipe, I don't want to. But anyway, that's my story on the Dr. Grabows, the much maligned Dr. Grabow. There's a lot to be said if you shop around. A lot of the older Dr. Grabows, like if you can find an Emperor, they're a beautiful pipe for the most part. And like I said, the stingers do pull out of the, well, that one's set in there right now. Most of the time when you smoke them, if you warm them up, the stinger will come out of the stem. So you can smoke them as a straight pipe too if you want to. You don't necessarily have to smoke them. Like the K-Woodies, you can't take the stingers out of. The Dr. Grabows you can. I will warn you that if you take those stingers in and out too many times, they will loosen up and they won't stay in there. So I try not to take them out any more than I have to. If I get any old pipes that are junkers, that I'll pull the stingers out of them so that I can use them on some other pipe. Some pipes I don't like to have. Some of the old pipes you'll get in that are a push bit, and they'll have a stinger in them. Well, I don't like stingers in push pipes. with a tenon type stem on them. So I take them out and smoke them as a standard pipe, and then I save the stingers to put into pipes like this. So that's my Dr. Grabow story. Take it for what it's worth. You got to remember that the old boys, that's in days gone by, K. Woody was king and Dr. Grabow was a close second. And the old drugstore pipes, just like the old granted, I don't smoke too many of the old drugstore tobaccos anymore. I do have a kind of a soft spot for the old Prince Albert and Carter Hall. I used to love the old Field and Stream, of which most of the copies that I've found don't quite, they're not quite as good as the old ones used to be. Even one of the other ones I used to smoke all the time was half and half, and the half and half you get today is not the same as the half and half you used to get years ago. So it's anyway, we got to go back to what our grandfathers did, and some of those old pipes, if you can find them in good shape yet, the old boys knew what they were doing, because a lot of those old pipes are still got a lot of life left in them yet. So till I come up with another topic for another time, we'll see you later.